Welcome back to the Pilates Business Podcast. I'm Seran Glanfield, and I'm so thrilled that you're here with me today. Just hit end call on my weekly live call with my Thrive group. And as usual, we have a very healthy conversation about all sorts of different things. But I wanted to hop on here and talk to you about one thing that does come up, really very, very regularly, monthly at least. And that is referral programs and referral strategies. And I know that you know, as well as I know, that we love word of mouth marketing. I think it is the best type of marketing. It means so much to you, but also means that you're probably getting people in the door who are already ready to say yes, to sign up and to dive in and get going and commit. And we love that. They're the best kind of clients. They're enthusiastic. They are energized. They are ready to commit to 1 or 2 or even 3 classes or sessions a week. And that's because they've heard great things about you from their friend. That's because their friend has probably shared some insight with them about what happens in the studio, or even some of the things that they have experienced as being your client, some of the things that they have enjoyed about being your client that is probably rich with emotion and feeling and detail, right? And so one of the things that comes up often in our calls is, okay, I know my clients love me, and when I get referrals, they're the best kind of people to get in the door. So how do I get more of them? And maybe the next kind of part of this is, why aren't more of my clients referring their friends? Why aren't they bringing them in? And I get it. It probably feels like it should be happening naturally. You've created something wonderful and magical inside of your studio. You see it every day. You've got happy, loyal clients. And so you're probably wondering, shouldn't that referral program just kind of take care of itself? And the reality is that no, not without intention. And the truth is that, this might sting a little, you guys. So, sorry, but referrals just don't happen because people are happy. They don't just happen because people are happy. They happen because there's a clear process and clear intention behind that referral strategy that makes it easy and exciting and rewarding for your clients to share what they love about your studio with their friends. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey today. I wanted to share with you a story about a studio owner that I have been working with recently. We're going to call her Claire because I'm not actually working with any studio owners called Claire right now. And I wanted to share this story with you without revealing the studio owner themselves, in case they're listening, because you probably are. But this studio owner, wonderful, amazing, ambitious, lovely human, so much passion for what they do, has a fantastic, solid business. And they have a wait list for many of their classes, has a really solid community that is warm and just shows up, right, with the best of intentions. But there's not a steady stream of referrals. Those clients are sort of keeping the studio to themselves a little bit. And so, Claire came into one of our sessions recently and said, I don't know why my clients aren't bringing me their friends. They're not, no one's referring anyone to me right now. And I know this is a good opportunity. There would be a good opportunity for growth for me if I could figure out how to make it work. And the reality is that Claire did have a referral program, right? She had mentioned it here and there. And she was wondering, really why that wasn't getting referrals is the question. And what was happening is that she was doing something, but not consistently or strategically. So she'd mentioned the referral program at the bottom of an email here and there, a little line in the newsletter, right? Maybe she would mention every now and again and very sporadically that, someone could bring a friend, often to perhaps a new client early on in their experience. And so it was a very sort of haphazard and program, or if you could even call it that, and without a lot of intention behind it. And also perhaps a bit lacking some transparency about what that referral program really is. And this might feel familiar to many of you because I find that this is very, very common, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it today. But the reality is that there's a bit of a shift that happens when we kind of come to the realization that referrals don't happen because your clients are happy, happen because you've created a system to make them happy. Okay. Sorry, a system to make them happen. Okay. I just also recorded a podcast, you guys, about why you should build your schedule around your energy. And the afternoons clearly are not the best time for me to record a podcast. Coming back to full circle, referrals happen because you've built a system to make them happen. And the reality is your clients certainly want to refer to you. They love you. They do want to refer you to their friends. But if there's no plan and there's no prompting them and there's no encouragement, there's no reminder, it probably just won't happen. And it's not because there's anything you're doing wrong in their experience. It's just that when they leave your studio, they're thinking about what else they have on their to-do list. And, referring their friends to your studio probably isn't that top of that list. So the question I have for you as you're listening here today is, are you relying on hope to get referrals, on just the TLC from your clients, or do you have a process in place? And the reality is that hope is not a scalable solution. It's not a strategy, but having a system is. And so let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. Now, when Claire worked a little bit on her referral program initially, like I mentioned, it was not that successful. And most referral programs fail because of three things. They're not clear, in that they're not really clear about if the reward is, if there is one, what the incentive is, if there is one, how a member should refer a friend. So there's just no clarity around what it is that your referral program actually is. The second reason is that they're not typically very compelling. So why should a client care about making a referral to you? What is it that is encouraging them to do that? And I think the final part of it, which is the most common, I will say, is that the program promotion or the promotion of your referral program is very inconsistent. There is not a lot of repetition around whether or not you have one, if it is open-ended, if it is fixed, is it just for this week? And so what happens is that these referral programs tend to just sort of sit in the background very, very, very quietly, right? And what I encourage you to do is to bring it to the forefront of your strategy, because that referral program is a promotion, just like perhaps your Black Friday promotion is. And just think about how much emphasis and attention you put on that Black Friday promotion, right? And every promotion needs marketing. And that means a marketing message that is easy to understand and something that feels exciting, and regular repeated exposure that makes it memorable to your clients, right? So one of the very first things that Claire did differently was that she actually started talking about her referral program, right? Like she talked about her newest teacher or her newest class or that favorite smoothie that she started making recently. And with that energy and that intention and that confidence, guess what happened? People started paying attention. And slowly but surely, she started to see a little bit of a shift happening with the types of clients, the new clients that were coming in the door. Okay. So it's about the energy. A lot of it is about the energy that you put into this program. Now, the second part of this that I get asked about is, okay, so how much of a discount should I give? Or how much should I reward my clients? And, I think that there's an old school mentality around this and the old school way of doing things that, I will give you my honest opinion about was that if a new client came in and they mentioned a member's name and that new client went through the intro offer and then went on to buy, I say, a 10-pack of classes, only after that sort of second purchase, that 10-pack purchase, that larger purchase, did your member get any sort of a reward. And typically the approach was that if you promoted that your members get a reward of some sort, maybe it's a free session or free class or a discount off of their next package, that would be enough for this referral program to be successful and to generate all these new leads. And the reality is that, that's not my favorite approach. Can you tell? Because your members are not paid on commission to be your salespeople. And so while that might feel like an easy, quick way to make sure your members are perhaps bringing you their clients, the reality is that because it's not that compelling, because it is not promoted frequently, because it just falls off of the radar of your clients, they're not even aware that that's even what your referral program may be. But even beyond that, and if we sort of evolve that strategy and make it a little more sophisticated and build it into what should be a really thorough customer journey that leads people into your business, guides them into your business, pulls them into your business, and then leads them towards a next sale, it is really on you as the business owner and the studio owner to create that experience such that it is high converting. And so if we cannot only reward our members for being so generous and thoughtful about bringing their clients in if we are not also doing our bit to support that experience as well, right? And this is why the really big reason why traditional programs that look like that tend to fail is because it is down to the reason a client will convert is not because their friend told them to come, it's because of the experience that they're going to have in your studio. So we want to make sure that we are giving a acknowledgement to your members for simply bringing someone to the door, right? And anyone who comes to the door that is a referral is going to be a much warmer lead than someone who is not. And that means that we want to be perhaps a little bit more thoughtful about how we reward and incentivize our members to bring their friends, because they're not just transactional for your clients. There's more to it than that. They're making a recommendation. And so they want to make a recommendation because they not just love what you have done for them, but because they want to share you with others because they just think you guys are the best, right? And we see in some businesses that referral programs create an incentive, but for the most part, your clients are going to refer because they want to feel like they're being helpful to their friends. They want to feel like they want to be generous to them with helping them to feel better and experience what they are experiencing as well. So what we found is that referrals aren't just about the discounts for your members. It's also about that identity, right? And so Claire also reframed her approach to tap into that sort of emotional part of it. And she built out her client experience and she built out the culture of community within her studio so that she was able to reward her top referrers and she made them feel extra special in lots of different ways. Now, Claire decided to give them sort of these special perks in her studio, right? She called them sort of like the insiders, and they got early access to workshops and so on. But you can there are lots of different ways that you can show appreciation to your clients for bringing in a friend. And it doesn't just have to mean $20 off their next package. And what we find is that the more that you can show that appreciation to them in more than just a monetary discount, the better the referrals will be, the stronger they will be as leads into your business, and the deeper the relationship will be with your clients. Now, what we often find too is that these referral programs, because there are these multiple purchases that might be required before your member gets paid and all this stuff, gets really complicated. No one remembers, no one cares. We want to make it really simple for people to refer a friend. And this is where it all really clicked for Claire. She realized that even when clients wanted to refer, it was just too much work, right? And they didn't know what to say, how to explain the pricing. They weren't sure if they were getting a special discount or not, or even how they should book their friend in for a trial and if they came with a guest pass or not. So Claire just made it simple. Okay. And this is really, I think, depending on the way that you set up your business model, what you offer in your studio, but also the software that you have available to you. There are lots of different ways that you can really simplify your referral program, and you want it to be as transparent and as simple as possible, right? And so it can just be saying the name of another member on the intake form. It can be sharing a clickable, shareable link. It can be perhaps a buddy pass or a guest pass that you give to your members to share with their friends. So there's a lot of different ways, but you do want to make it as simple as possible because referrals should really be completely frictionless, right? Like, imagine you wanted to share like the playlist with your friends. You can just click that little button that says share. If you want to share that, that Amazon purchase that your friend said, hey, where did you get that from? I need some of those. You go to Amazon and you click share. You want to make it as simple as that, because the world that we're living in today, that's kind of what's expected, right? Now, what really makes the biggest difference in the studios like Claire's studio is that we stop seeing referrals like a one-off event and instead start making them part of the culture. So you integrate the idea of bringing in friends throughout the customer journey as part of perhaps a sort of a key pillar of your community. Maybe you start inviting your members in the early days of their journey in your studio to bring in their friends. Maybe you host events specifically for your members to bring their friends. Maybe you celebrate when your members bring in their friends, right? And so referrals don't just happen very sporadically, occasionally, and just out of luck or hope. They happen because you are creating energy within your studio that supports that type of activity, right? And, what I see time and time again in the world that we're in today and how sort of our behavior we're seeing is shifting when it comes to movement and boutique fitness is that people like to move with their friends. This is an activity, a shared experience that people love to share with their friends. And so the more that you can create that culture where that is something that happens very, you organically, that you encourage in your studio, then the more you will see that happen. And so this isn't just a referral program that sits on a dusty shelf somewhere quietly waiting. This is something that you are being really proactive about in your studio. And so what Claire found was when she made these shifts and made these changes and invested in the community that she had, that they became her best marketing asset, right? And so what would it look like for you if you made some of these changes and your studio was a community of friends, of friends of friends, and friends who meet the friends of their other friends who all come to your studio, and how wonderful that would be for the energy and the atmosphere within the four walls of your studio space. So just a quick recap. Referrals don't happen just because people are happy. They happen when there's a system in place. Truly, it is about having a system. And the majority of the programs fail or don't work because they're inconsistent, they're vague, maybe they're a little bit complicated, and maybe they're just not aware. Maybe people are just unaware that they even exist. And what I have found is that these referral strategies, the referrals that are really strong, especially in boutique fitness studios, that there are ones that are built around identity and emotion and collaboration and belonging, not just, a quick $20 off the next class pack, right? And you want to make sure that that process for a member to refer a friend is completely frictionless. So you want to make it simple, always wins, and that you want to make it as easy as possible for a client to make a referral, to bring a friend in, right? And finally, that growth happens. Truly happens. Great clients will come in the door when those referrals and this referral activity becomes a part of your culture, not something that sort of sits behind the scenes, like I said, on that dusty shelf. So maybe it's time to make some changes. And if you want a little bit more help designing a high converting, heart-centered referral strategy that feels really aligned with your brand and the way that you have built your business, that's exactly what we dive into inside of Thrive. Like I said, each and every week we have conversations about topics just like this to help you to make these improvements to your business. And often they're simple but very effective changes that really make the biggest difference. So I hope this was helpful to you if you are looking to build and grow a boutique fitness studio business. Remember, your happiest clients are already rooting for you. You just need to give them the tools and the encouragement to spread the word. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and growing your studio with intention and perhaps a couple more referrals.